Hello everyone, MeNoHaxor here, bringing you guys a full game commentary on Morgana. Recently Morgana has been a lot more popular just because Jhin has started being played a lot more, and especially in LCS people have been picking Morgana with Jhin. And I decided to pick up Morgana myself because I do think that Morgana Jhin is a very powerful lane, as you'll see that throughout this game we're going to be doing a lot of follow-up on each other with like either one of us like initiating with a root and then the other person just following up for like 4 seconds of rooting time, which is really powerful. So we invade here, and I do see this Alistar right here, and I should actually switch this to our perspective just so you can see like how much vision we have. So for all we know, we only see the Alistar here. He put the ward down here and he's running away, which makes it pretty obvious that no one else is really around to help him. So I'm pretty much just going to wait here and just go for a really easy binding because I know he doesn't see me from this angle right here. Like this ward doesn't actually allow him to see me, like if you switch to this perspective, like I'm completely hidden. So I know I was going to get a very easy binding as long as I just aim directly straight. Get the free binding on the Pantheon. Jhin follows up with a root for about 3 seconds of immobility, and then Alistar pretty much just dies. So that's a really easy invade. I highly recommend you invade every single game as Morgana because she's very strong with her really long CC. Like at level 1, her CC is like 2 seconds. Like that's ridiculous for level 1. Level 1 spell. So we're gonna head back to lane with a pretty big advantage because Jhin does start with a longsword, which is really powerful for us. We're gonna go ahead and just help Nocturne with a really quick leash and then just go ahead and walk to the laning. So in this matchup, it's going to be Jhin Morgana against an Ashe Alistar. In particular, I don't think they're like either of us are really at an advantage. I would say it's maybe slightly favored for us because I can Black Shield Alistar CC. But you can see right now, like right when we get to lane, we're just being super aggressive. And the reason why we're being so aggressive is that we know that like at level 1, we're just way stronger than them. And if like Alistar can't really do anything because he starts Q first. So because of that, like there's no real threat of me being CC'd ever, at least for now. So that's why I'm just running up super aggressively and just trying to poke him out and just pressure him. And then we're gonna shove, get to 2 first, and just force them to try to miss as many last hits as possible under turret. Just keep trying to harass them. So they go for a little bit of harass on Jhin, but it's like not really a big deal at all. Like they still don't really do any damage. Like Ashe doesn't really have a lot of all-in damage. She's more of like sustained poke. So we're not really scared of anything at all. So we're just gonna keep on just like poking them. So I do see Lee Sin showed top, right? And whenever you see a jungler on the map, you should always check to see what kind of buffs he has because it tells you where the jungler path, which is really important, especially for bot lane, so that way you can figure out whether or not the Lee Sin is going to come bot anytime soon. So I saw that Lee Sin only has red buff, so I know he never went to blue yet. So because of that, I'm going to go ahead and walk up really quickly and just put a ward right on his blue. So this is really important because I know that at some point in the near future, especially if Lee Sin goes back to recall after this, he's going to go to his blue like pretty much immediately afterwards. So as soon as he does go to his blue, we have a lot of information on where he is on the map, which is really important for everyone on my team. I also went there because we were pushed up kind of far, so it was pretty okay for me to just leave the lane for now. So they did hit level 3 because they took a camp first. So I'm going to try to run back to lane as soon as possible, but the Jhin went a little too far forward, and then it's going to get comboed. And this is kind of bad right now because they're 1 level up on us, so they are stronger than us by a pretty reasonable margin. So we pretty much just have to back off at this point. So note that throughout this entire engagement, my goal is to pretty much just try to protect Jhin and just try to auto-attack the Ashe as much as possible because there isn't really a point in ever hitting Alistar. Like once he uses his CC, he doesn't really do any damage. So my goal is to try to make Ashe go as low as possible. So I snare, he flushes away, so he's pretty much like safe as long as he doesn't get wrecked by Alistar. And I'm just gonna keep hitting this Ashe and just auto-attacking her because like we can pretty much turn this around, I think. Like I do see Nocturne is in the area, so as long as I keep the Ashe here, I don't really care if I die because I know that as long as we get the Ashe low enough where Nocturne can come in and clean up, then we should be able to win this trade pretty well. So fortunately that root misses, which kind of sucks. Ashe goes in for the flash W on Jhin, which he does live because he pops a health pot, which is really good. But now I'm in kind of an awkward spot because yeah, like I'm just gonna get like super wrecked in 1v2, but I don't really care that much. Like I'm not even gonna bother trying to run away. My goal right now is just try to CC the Ashe for as long as possible. So I go in for a flash binding just to make sure that she gets rooted for 2 more seconds, and then now the Nocturne comes in. So now Ashe lost all her time to run away, and she realizes now that like those 2 seconds gone like meant life and death. So she's just gonna stay here. She's gonna die, and we do end up trading 1-for-1. So it was a kind of a bad misplay on our part just for having the Jhin be a little bit too far up while I went to go ward, but in the end it didn't work out that badly because Nocturne got a kill. Jhin is now getting a lot of experience in farming, so it was okay for us. And because of my word earlier, now the Nocturne is going to go in and invade and take the Lee Sin blue buff, which is pretty nice for us. So that was a really big victory for us. So I'm going to rewind this a little bit here because I am back to lane now. And so the Alistar here is going to try to freeze a lane, which is definitely the correct decision to do. Like if as a support, if you see the enemy AD carry just recalling and you know that your AD carry is going to be coming back, like if I switch to their perspective, like their Ashe is going to be back soon, so she's going to be able to get quite a bit of farm if these creeps do not get to this turret. And if you also freeze the wave here, then she can keep the wave, like if she's got a wave manipulation, she can keep the wave like right around this area, and it forces us to extend a bit further and makes us a lot more susceptible to ganks. So that's definitely the correct decision for the Alistar. But the Alistar kind of didn't really see me, so I just kind of run up and just like throw a binding on him, and then we just kill him. So that was the correct idea, but maybe shouldn't have stood like right here where it's kind of easy to get binded from Fog of War. Probably would have been better to stay around this area on the right side, just so if I have to show up, the only way I can show up is through here, and if they have this bush warded, then they could see me. So anyways, now that we did get the kill in the Alistar, I told Jhin not to go back anymore because now we're just going to go ahead and start pushing out the lane. Jhin, I think he told me he's going to be really close to BF, so I'm just going to try to pressure the Ashe, just make her lose as much CS as possible. And now he's going to go back, and I'll just go back as well. So in terms of item progression, I went with a Frostfang first because Morgana is really good at making Frostfang money with her soil. So the faster you get Frostfang, the faster you can make war money, and I think that's pretty good in solo queue. In maybe like rank 5s, I might consider getting something else if I had more money, but I think I only had 500 gold, so I just bought that. I'm also bought a Ruby Crystal because I'm going to work my way towards getting a Sightstone. I think that's pretty important against a Lee Sin. I also saw the Alistar was roaming, but I believe I pinged, but the Gangplank didn't really catch on to that, which kind of sucks. So basically what that means now is that since the Alistar is roaming, like my goal, I have 2 goals essentially. My first goal is that now that this is a 2v1, I'm going to try to out pressure the Ashe and just zone her for as much CS as possible. My second goal is that if the Alistar tries to go back to lane, I'm going to try to zone him out for getting back to lane as soon as possible, because I know that my Jhin is way stronger than Ashe. Like Jhin has a BF sword and a longsword, and Ashe like has a Colon dagger. So like Jhin is just way stronger. So as long as I keep Jhin and Ashe in a 1v1 and don't let the Alistar come back, we're in a pretty good lane situation. So I'm just kind of waiting in this bush, checking to see like where the Alistar is going to go next. And if the Ashe ever shows herself for CS, like I can just kill her. So I do see the Alistar did go top, so he's just really roaming everywhere, which is a bit unfortunate for the Pantheon. But I guess Nocturne gets a cleanup kill, so that's not the worst thing ever. So at this point, I'm going to try to flank around, because I know that the lane is pushing. I saw the Alistar is still top, so I know that this is going to be a 2v1, and we can dive under the turret if we coordinate this well, especially since Jhin is 6. So right here, we do see Lee Sin, so now I'm like, crap, this is like really awkward, because the shortest path for me to get to the Jhin is straight through this turret, but we don't have any creeps here, so that's not really a viable option for me, and so the only real way for me to get to Jhin now is if I walk all the way back like this. So basically, I'm just going to try to walk all the way back. I'm very surprised that they didn't go on the Jhin, because they probably would have killed him since Lee Sin is 6, but I guess the Lee Sin wanted to get a free kill on me, which I guess is okay. So I Black Shield just in case he wants to kick me or something like that. So now this pretty much like denies Lee Sin of getting any weird shenanigans off. What I probably should have done here is that I threw my binding a little too early, and I probably should have waited for the Jhin to at least root for a little while before I threw my Q off, so that way we could CC him longer. But in reality, I'm not even sure if we would have gotten the kill. Like Lee Sin could have very well, like we didn't know if he had flash or not. Like he could have maybe flashed at or like used his W to get out, and I was on level 4, so I wasn't like that strong. So a little bit of a misplay on both our parts, but could have been a little better. So anyways, here the Pantheon does ult. I think I'm gonna rewind this a little bit. So you can see that Pantheon is coming. So what's really important about diving as Morgana is that with your soil, you do draw tower aggro pretty much immediately when you do throw your soil down, because it does a lot of ticks of damage really quickly. So if you want to tank turret aggro as Morgana, just throw your soil on top of the enemy champions once you're in tower range, and then you'll take all the aggro. But if you don't want to take aggro, just don't throw your soil down, because it's not really worth it. So you can see here that I'm just going to go for the soil and the binding. Now I'm taking tower aggro, so I'm just going to sit here and let my team just wreck them, and now we get a pretty clean kill. So I'm going to go ahead and start recalling. I'm going to let Jhin just take down this turret, and now this is really good for us, because by taking this turret down really early, this allows me to roam around the map and try to get pressure elsewhere, because his Alistar is still roaming a ton. So now we can start matching the Alistar roams, and the Jhin can start rotating mid to try to help push in the lane, because his gangplank is like, it's getting a little shaky right now, because LeBlanc is getting a little strong. So I do finish Sightstone and get boots and a pink ward. Just going to head mid now and try to get some vision for us. So right when LeBlanc comes, I'm going to try to get a binding. Unfortunately, I do miss. It is really hard to land a binding on LeBlanc because she jumps like really quickly, so it's worth trying, I suppose. Because if you do land a binding on the Morgana, or land a binding on the LeBlanc, she can't distortion back, so if I do land it, she is dead, but it's pretty much impossible to land it, so do your best with that. So anyways, Lee Sin is here. This is the instance of like landing a Q and then following up with a Jhin root. Pretty nice and free damage. Lee Sin's gonna Q and connect onto me, but once again, I black shield to make sure that he can't do like a flash kick or like a ward jump kick or anything like that, so I'm pretty much safe. I'm not sure where the gangplank is here because he's kind of putting himself in a danger, because now Lee Sin's just gonna go for a kick on him, and then now he's just kind of dead. I was pretty much okay. I don't think he really needed to help me, but like, eh. So here, Nocturne does ult, but I know he is top, but I'm just going to scare them anyways in a 1v3 because they don't know where the Nocturne is ulting, and given that Lee Sin is really low, there is a pretty reasonable chance that he could be coming. So they're pretty spooked right now. I just kind of spook them pretty hard, and then I think they didn't get a kill because the Sion ran away, so that kind of sucks. So I kind of get arrowed here, and that's just a huge misplay on my part because like I just should have backed off for a little bit longer until my black shield was back up on cooldown again. I got a little bit too cocky, I guess, because I, like, you know, Ashe can't really engage on me if I have black shield, but I just didn't have it up. And then the response from the red team is definitely correct here. Because the mid lane is dead, like, they're just going to 4-man group mid and just take down this turret, which is just a really good thing to do, because taking mid turret is really good to opening up map pressure for the entire map, because once you take down this turret, like, you can go, like, throughout your entire jungle, like, you open up a lot of the map for your team. And so grouping like that after taking down the mid laner is definitely a correct play, and I don't see a lot of people doing that in solo queue, but that does require a little bit of coordination, but it's definitely a really good thing to do. In response, I'm going to try to get vision on this side of the map. Like, getting a ward right here is pretty useful in case they try to do a flank with LeBlanc or Lee Sin. We're going to try to get as much damage as we can on this turret. We chunk it to about half in one wave, which is not that bad. Anyways, my goal now is that I'm going to try to keep getting a vision around Dragon's side, because if I were the red team, I would think my next objective would be to take this dragon. So I try to just keep a vision around this area just to make sure that they can't get to it. I'm also just staying mid to make sure that this lane gets pushed up, because it's also scary for them to take dragon if we're just pushing really hard mid, because they still have this turret up. So that's kind of like the way you respond to dragon, I guess. So here with this pink ward, I do see LeBlanc and the Alistar is roaming up here, right? So my goal right now is to try to meet them right here, because now it seems like super obvious now, right? Like you can I think anyone can see that they're planning to dive this Pantheon 100%. So I kind of have two options here, right? So I can either immediately run to the Pantheon, or I can try to cut them off right here. And so I'll switch to Fog of War just so you can see this. So right now, I believe I'm going to place a ward over here. Yeah, so I place a ward over here just to get vision of them. So now I can see them. And now, like, my goal is to try to bind the LeBlanc, because the LeBlanc is just going to W here, ult over here, and then she gets to the Pantheon, and Pantheon's 100% dead. So as long as I bind the LeBlanc, I pretty much stop their entire engage. So I do bind here, follow up with the Jhin root, and now, like, this is really good for us, because now we've pretty much just stopped the LeBlanc and Alistar for helping them out, and now the Sion is just super deep into our top side, and once we scare them off, we can just help out the Pantheon, and then their gank is pretty much unsuccessful. So LeBlanc just used her ult just to get out, so now we know that we can help out this Pantheon. So now the Sion is completely dead, and we pretty much just stopped the counter gank right there. So that was just really fast response from all of us. This ward was really important to give us vision of the area, so always remember to ward up the place as you're fighting. And kind of off that continuation of this fight. So Nocturne goes in on this LeBlanc right here. So once again, like, this fight's gonna happen here. I do see the Lee Sin is mid and is heading top side. So once again, I kind of have two options, right? I can either walk all the way here, meet the Lee Sin like somewhere over here, and then just like maybe cut them off here, or I can just like walk over here and just cut off the Lee Sin because the Jin is with me. So I decided to go stop the Lee Sin here. I think Jin decides to go for the to help out the team because he has a pretty long range route, so he can probably get free assists and stuff like that. But I'm gonna try to stop the Lee Sin just in case something goes bad. So I throw a binding on Lee Sin, throw some soil down, try to dodge his Q, but unfortunately it does connect. So now I do ult the Lee Sin just to make sure I'm okay. I probably should have shielded right about now in case the Lee Sin wanted to kick me because my shield does last for a while, but I get a little bit too greedy with the shield. So he does get the knockback on my on me without proccing my ult, so I don't get extra damage in him. Now I black shield, and now I'm just going to try to juke a little while the Jin tries to save me. So he does land a Q right here. So what you could do with your flash is that you can dodge the damage on the Lee Sin Q if you flash like pretty much perfectly. So that's what I'm gonna try to do because there's really no way I can survive at this point now. So my goal is just try to survive. So I flash like just like that, and so I believe that dodged the damage because I think that damage afterwards was from the initial Q, I think, but I could recheck that. Regardless, flashing over the wall after the Q connects is definitely the right play, because that way you can't follow up with auto attacks on me. Let me see what happened. Yeah, I completely dodged the second damage of the Q right there. You saw that the first damage was just from connecting the Q, right? So, dodging the XQ damage definitely let me live right there. And so, now the Lee Sin's just kind of screwed. So, that was pretty hard to do. Like, I think it's a very big, like, timing thing you have to do, and I don't recommend you actually try to do that because it's pretty unlikely you'll actually pull it off, but denying a kill for Lee Sin is pretty good for us, and I just went for it because, yeah. Anyways, for my next item, I went ahead and built a Frost Queen's Claim. I think Frost Queen's is really strong on Morgana because having Ghost to slow down the enemy is really powerful because it pretty much lets you get a guaranteed binding on them afterwards, and I think that's pretty much one of the only supports where I really like Frost Queen Claims a lot. Like, other supports that build, like Frost Fang, like Frost Queen's is okay, but especially on Morgana, it's really important. So they do end up taking Dragon. We just weren't really there together yet. Like, I guess we could have maybe fought them, but like they already had established vision. Like, they had a pink ward here. They had a lot of vision everywhere, and we couldn't really just collapse into them on time because we were kind of like separated, right? Like, three of us are here, the Nocturne spot. Like, it just felt really awkward. So we decided to give it up, which wasn't a super big deal. Anyways, I'm going to fast forward this a little bit because it does get a little bit boring. We do see the Scion was going to take our blue. The Blanc kind of chucks me, so I just shield myself just in case. And I'm just going to try to snare the Scion. We do get a lot of damage on him, but he's just going to ult away. Oh well, not a super big deal because I believe Gangplank got the blue, so not the worst. Anyways, I do see there's a fight going on mid, so I'm going to try to help out my team as soon as I can. It really sucks because I was really close to getting the shield off on the Jin. Like, if we watch, like, I was maybe like 2 seconds off, so that kind of sucks because if I blocked the Lee Sin ult, then the Jin would have definitely lived. So, like, yeah, I was about 2 seconds off. That sucks. Anyways, so even though the Jin is dead, like, I'm pretty sure we can still fight this because they used a lot of cooldowns on Jin, and so now right now my goal is to try to help out the Nocturne as much as possible. So I'm gonna run up and try to get the ult on both of them. Alistar tries to CC me here, and I'm just gonna try to throw a binding just to stop the Lee Sin. We just pretty much blow him up, and now I'm just gonna black shield the Nocturne, try to help him just clean up because Nocturne is really, really strong right now. Like, he's super fed. So now, like, it's pretty much just cleanup duty for him. Just gonna make sure I can land this binding on Alistar, and he secured another kill. Well, I secured it. But basically, there wasn't really that much to say. Like, I did everything a normal Morgana would do. I used ult, and then I didn't use shield on myself because I wanted to shield the Nocturne in case the LeBlanc wanted to snare him and run away. So it's a lot more important for me to give the shield over to the Nocturne, so that way, like my ult doesn't really matter if it lands because, like, I only landed it on the Lee Sin that was dead and the Alistar, who doesn't really matter. So I was okay with giving the shield off. Anyways, now that 3 are dead, I'm going to try to push out mid right now. I'm asking Nocturne to come mid because, like, I don't know why he's taking the jungle camp. But Anyways, we do take the mid turret pretty much for free now, so pretty nice for us. I also saw there was a making here, so I'm just gonna kill that. Anyways, now I went ahead and built Lucidity Boots because I think Morgana's cooldowns are really high for a support, and I don't think she's particularly helpful having a lot of movement speed, so I prefer the CER on her because it's a lot cheaper, and I think having like less cooldowns on my shield and my mining is really nice. So I get chunked pretty hard by the LeBlanc, so I had to shield myself just to negate damage, but right now I'm just going to try to land one snare. I do land it on the Lee Sin, immediately backed off because I know that in most people's like general reaction when they get binded, they try to just throw a skill shot in the general direction that Morgana was at. So I just run away, dodge that Q, and now my team is pretty much going to start the fight right here because they know LeBlanc blew a lot on me, so LeBlanc isn't that spooky anymore. So we're just going to chase him here. I'm going to try to cut them off just in case. I missed a binding on LeBlanc because of that stupid clone, but now that like Nocturne is just going to chase out these two guys, I know there's no real reason for me to keep on chasing here, so I'm going to fall back and try to go back to my team over here. So I do see the Jhin is trying to fight the Scion right now. I kind of kite back a little bit because I'm not sure if the Scion could actually kill me, and I wanted to play a little bit safe. So I throw a shield on the Nocturne just in case so he doesn't get slowed or CC'd by Scion or anything. And then my goal right now is that I'm going to try to look for a binding on someone over here, but Ashe flashes away, so it's not really practical for me anymore. So the only real target for me to bind is a Scion that's like dead. So I'm going to just try to bind the Scion that's dead so it doesn't do any more damage to any of us. So he's kind of just dead now. And then my team's going to clean up on them. Nice. So we pretty much just aced them pretty cleanly. I think that was really good for my team to respond when the LeBlanc blew a lot of stuff on me. And then me binding the Lee Sin here also was really good because he kind of got caught. And then their team had to split off because the Nocturne ulted. So that was pretty nice. Really well played by my team. Anyways, we're now going to start taking this turret down. The LeBlanc here is going to try to like get as much damage as she can onto us. So right now, I know this is the perfect time for me to go in for a binding. Because I know as a LeBlanc, since she W'd over the wall here, she's probably going to ult right here to clear the wave and try to kill this Jhin. So I'm going to try my best to throw a binding, like literally point blank. Like I make sure I position myself to where I know she's going to land her ult. And then just throw a binding right there. So now she's just stuck and she just pretty much just dies instantly. So pretty easy binding for me. And now because LeBlanc is dead, we're just going to keep pushing, I think. Like there's no real reason for us to stop right now because a lot of them are dead. But I think they just spawned right now. We got a little bit of damage on our turret. So we're just like, we'll just back off for now. I wanted to go push bot, but the Nocturne recalled for some reason. And then like these guys are just like sitting mid. So now I guess we're just fighting again because whatever. So like I'm just gonna run up, put a shield on the gangplank. It didn't really matter which one I shielded at this point because honestly these two guys are just really tanky and like they're our main damage dealer front lines, and like I don't think it matters which one I shield. But anyways, I just ult the Alistar to spook him out. I know that I'm in a really bad spot here, so I'm just gonna flash out just so the Ashe can't kill me, and then we're gonna go back and turn on that Lee Sin, get a kill on him. They're gonna jump on the Ashe next and kill her. So now my goal is to try to just peel off the Scion, so I hang on to my binding. We get more perma-root on him. I shield the Jhin because I didn't want him to get CC'd. Like, I figured Gangplank has oranges, so like it's whatever for him. So they unfortunately blew up the Gangplank because of that, but Jhin is still alive now. So we're going to try to get as much more damage as possible. I throw another shield on him just in case they wanted to go forward more. And now I try to apply soil damage because I want the Jhin to be able to land a root. Because once the Jhin gets rooted, it's really easy for me to follow up. So Jhin does land a root, but it actually ends up killing him, which is nice. But LeBlanc is pretty much just going to wreck me. Kind of unfortunate, because LeBlanc did get a fair amount of kills there. But I believe we traded 3 for 3, so that really wasn't that bad at all. Actually 4 for 3, so not bad at all. Anyways, I immediately bought a banner because I was working towards an Aegis, and if you kind of look at the enemy team, like, they don't really have a lot of ways to deal with a banner minion. Like, Scion does a fair amount of magic damage, actually, so he can't really kill the banner minion that fast, so I figured that having a banner is kind of nice. I try to run top to try to save them, but they're just really out of position. Oh well. Let me talk about other stuff before I talk about items. So, now that 2 of us got picked, Baron is a likely possibility for them. So me and the Pantheon are just going to try to like stall them a little bit. I'm going to try to run up to pressure them a tiny bit. Pantheon's gonna try to get damage, and we're gonna try to back off for now. Bind the Lee Sin to make sure he can't get any insects off. I see the Pantheon got snared, so I shield him so that way he doesn't get rooted, so he doesn't get caught. So we pretty much live because of that, and now we bought a lot of time. That's kind of nice. Send out Ghost just in case the LeBlanc wants to turn on me on this rotation down here. Try to bind here. Really I'm just always making sure that the LeBlanc never tries to engage on us. And then Gangplank does a nice ult here to clear out the wave. So now you can see that their team is very separated, right? Like Ashe is basically out of the fight now. The Sion is very far out here. And I'm pretty much going to try to zone out the Lee Sin and Alistar for coming in, and LeBlanc can't really go in because of this Gangplank ult. So now I'm going to help the Gangplank turn on the Sion, land a binding on him, shield him to make sure that it doesn't get CC'd like that, and get a free kill on Sion, which is quite nice. So really just a free pick for just, I guess, assessing the situation quickly and realizing that the Sion was completely by himself. So nice for us. Anyways, they're going to keep fighting. Like, these guys are just going to go super ham. They get the pick on LeBlanc. Jin's going to just try to ult, do some more damage to them. Like, I think we're still going in. Like, these guys are just going super ham. So, I preemptively Black Shield the Jin because I know that he wants to go ham with, like, his 4th bullet and, like, just wants to do as much damage as possible. So, he's just pretty much not going to get slowed at all, and he's just going to run straight forward into their base. And I think we do get a kill on the Lee Sin right here. That's pretty nice for us. And then now we get this turret. So, it's a little spooky now. My shield was a little too late. I think that was because my shield was on cooldown from before, so that kind of sucked, because the Gangplank is just going to die. But, basically, I'm going to try to ult just to zone out the Sion right now. Throw a binding on the Ashe, and now I pretty much accepted that I'm dead, because I know that the Alistar can pretty much CC me. I don't have shield anymore, so I'm just gonna, as soon as I landed that binding, I just decided to ignite and turn on the Ashe. So I know I was gonna die, but I gotta trade for it, so not the worst thing ever. I guess you should really just, if you know you're gonna die, you might as well do as much damage as you can, right? So a little bit of an overextension on our team's part going here. But anyways, I was talking about Banner because, like, once again, looking at their team, they don't really have anyone that can clear the Banner minion that easily. I also think Morgana is one of those supports where you can kind of build a little bit more selfishly with getting a little bit more AP. Like, getting Azanias, I think, is okay on Morgana. And kind of building, like, not support items, I think, is fine. But I think Banner's really nice because I get CDR, I get a lot of AP, which is good because I can block more damage with my shield. And I think having a Banner minion is pretty helpful just to, because just they can't really stop it. So that's the reason why I bought Banner over Locket. Anyways, we're looking to set up Baron, so I'm going to send out Ghost just to scout where they are, since we do have a lot of vision here. We do see that they're pretty much just, like, congregated around mid, so I'm going to try to cut them off this way. So Pantheon does ult, so now, like, I know I'm in a really nice position to try to get some damage off or a snare. The Sion gets stunned, so I kind of missed my snare, which is really awkward, but it doesn't really matter too much, I guess. I now see that our Nocturne went in, so I'm going to try to run forward. Go for an ult on Lee Sin and the Sion, but unfortunately I only get the Sion, but not the biggest deal in the world. And now we're just going to keep going in and just going super ham. So I actually see that the LeBlanc jumped on their Jin, so MeNoHaxor tried to get scare off the LeBlanc to make sure that the Jin doesn't die. So LeBlanc backs off, and then our team cleans up their back line, so that's pretty nice for us. So right now, since we're pushing in, I'm still thinking about where the LeBlanc is, because the LeBlanc can still easily flank us. So I place a ward over here. I think LeBlanc, I see LeBlanc right here. We get a root, so I'm pretty much gonna try to spook her out of flanking us. So she does back off and respect me, so that's pretty nice for us since we get the inhib pretty cleanly. And on a recall back, I throw out my sweeper, checking these bushes just in case there's any wards here, because I know that we're gonna look to do Baron pretty soon. So clearing out this vision in their jungle is pretty helpful for us. Anyways, with my extra money, I do end up buying a Ruby Sightstone, and the reason why I built a Ruby Sightstone here is because I do have 2 activatable items, and Ruby Sightstone does reduce the item active by 10%, which isn't that much, but more importantly, it does give me more wards, and I really need a lot more wards right now, especially since that we are looking to get vision around in key areas of the map, including Baron. So that's the main reason why I did that. So you can see here, just kind of like how when as Janna, you want to shield your allies to get a free assist. You can do the exact same thing with the Morgana shield. So I see that the Jin is sniping someone down here. So as long as Jin did a little bit of damage to the enemy that dies, I can just shield him and get an assist as well. So I believe the Jhin did hit the Lee Sin before, so when the Lee Sin dies here, I do get an assist for free. So that's pretty nice for me. In the meantime, I was zoning out the Alistar and the LeBlanc. Can't really kill them, but that's fine. I'm just spooking them. Pretty nice for us, and now we get a pretty clean Baron now. So I'm just going to try to put some vision down for us, like, you know, throw stuff over the wall. So, anyways, you do see the teleport now, so I am going to try to meet up with my team here, because that teleports from Sion. So our goal now is just try to keep Sion inside the pit, which is kind of funny. So Sion's kind of trapped here, like, we're both going to root him, basically, and keep him inside the pit, which is just hilarious. I put the back shield on Pantheon so they know he's going to jump in, so that shield pretty much negated all of that CC that the Sion just did. And now we're pretty much going to get a pretty easy kill on him. I'm not sure where the Gangplank is here, because he's just going to die to Baron. That was kind of random. But we ended up killing the Sion in a funny way. And the Baron is still kind of healthy, so we're going to look to try to do Baron and just keep on at it since the Nocturne is here. I'm going to try to stall the Alistar here and just make sure that the LeBlanc doesn't jump us. Because right now, the only thing I'm a little scared about is Lee Sin coming in for the Baron steal, but we know he died before, right? So I know he can't really be here within the next 10 seconds, which is why I'm okay with just throwing up bindings on the other enemy team here. I put the black shield on the Pantheon here so that we can jump on the LeBlanc. So the LeBlanc just dies pretty much immediately, and now we're just kind of hitting the Alistar here. Try to land a binding on the Ashe for the Pantheon, but I missed, which kind of sucks because that would have been a kill for the Pantheon. Not the biggest deal now. So now I know I do see the Lee Sin here, so now my goal is that as long as I land the snare on the Lee Sin, he can't actually like war jump into the pit or do anything. So I have to land a snare, so now my goal is to land a snare on him. He's pretty much rooted, so there's no opportunity for him to go inside the pit, which is pretty nice for us because now we secured Baron for our team. Nice. Anyways, now I'm going to try to push mid with the Jhin because they're pretty much all dead and the Ashe also just got wrecked. So I end up putting the banner minion on our little caster guy because we don't have a cannon minion, which kind of sucks. So we're just going to try to hit the sign a little, but now we realize we're a little overextended, so they all just respawn. We're going to head back. Find the Alistar. I'm not really super scared of LeBlanc. I don't think she could have killed me because I used a black shield to negate a lot of my damage, so I'm pretty good. I'm just going to recall now. Nice. So now we got Baron, so we're in a really good spot to win the game. Anyways, I'm looking to build Crucible next because I realize now that, like, probably having a Crucible would be helpful in case, like, I can't really, like, use a black shield for someone that already got CC'd. So having Crucible is kind of nice. Like, for example, if someone gets Ashe ulted, I can always use Crucible on them and save my black shield for a more important thing, like a Lee Sin kick. So my team is kind of like just running around doing crazy things. Like Nocturne just goes in here for whatever reason. And then now we're just in a really awkward spot because now it's a 3v4. So I shield Pantheon preemptively just in case he wanted to fight. But now I'm like, this is a little awkward because they're just going to jump on this Jhin here. Like, I'm going to try to throw a binding on that LeBlanc, but Alistar got hit by it. I'm going to try to ult as many people as I can. And then I'm just kind of waiting until I see an important CC that's going to be applied, like the snare. So I'm going to make sure that the Jhin doesn't get snared, at least here. But unfortunately, that Sun Q does break it, and then now he's going to get super wrecked. So, kind of sucks there. And now I'm just going to run, because, like, there's no way I can save this Pantheon now. He's just super dead, so I just had to leave, because, like, I don't want to die also. It's important for at least one person on our team to have Baron buff, so I just had to just ditch him. Unfortunate. I don't know why my team just did that, because we lost all our Baron buffs except for me, so a little unfortunate. Anyways, I do have Crucible now, so now I'm in a pretty nice spot. Like, I have a ton of CDR, so I'm like pretty much maxed out at this point, to be honest, because I'm probably gonna be carrying pink wards for the rest of the game. I do have a lot of kills too, so that's kind of nice. Anyways, we're gonna look to push mid now. I guess if we rewind this just a tiny bit, I do see the Sion is here, so I'm just gonna run up pretty aggressively, and I do land the binding on here. I also throw the shield onto Jhin preemptively because once again I know LeBlanc is somewhere in the area, so as long as the shield is on him, the LeBlanc can't really go in to burst him. And now the Jhin can just pretty much run up really aggressively. So LeBlanc does jump in right here. I'm gonna try and invest the ult as soon as possible, just to make sure that the LeBlanc doesn't like keep wrecking our Jhin. Now our Nocturne goes in. Now I'm going to run forward and just keep trying to CC people down. I put the ward over here just in case the LeBlanc wanted to flank again, because once Jhin is in ult mode, like, he becomes a really juicy target. So I know that the LeBlanc is probably somewhere in this area. So I ward over the cliff here. LeBlanc does seem to be backing off, so now the Jhin knows that he's pretty much safe. But now we see LeBlanc is coming back in, so now I'm like, oh crap, like, I have to try to go save this guy. So I'm like gonna try to land a mining, but I do miss, which kind of sucks, because now the Jin's in a really awkward spot, basically. So he's gonna try to run. Like, I'm trying to go help him, but it's also like really awkward because my team is also fighting like everywhere else. So I'm just like, okay, like, I'll just try to come now. The Jhin does get a lot of damage on Morgana, so I know I can finish him off. So I go for the ignite and then go for the soil. I'm not even gonna try to go for a binding. Like, I know that with my ignite autos and a soil, like, I know I can kill the LeBlanc, so I just go straight up for like the free kill, just like that. So I probably could protected the Jhin if I stayed with him 24/7 immediately, like, after we got a lot of kills here. So that was a little bit of a misplay on my part, but I was hoping the Jhin would live. Anyways, we're gonna try to just push for the win, but it's a little hard because the Lee Sin and the Alistar are up. So we at least take this Nexus turret, and then we're just gonna run for our lives. That's okay. Cool. Maybe if I crucibled the Jhin, like, the extra health maybe would have saved him, but I don't think I would have. I think the LeBlanc does too much burst damage. Anyways, our Nocturne is going crazy. He's just gonna go ham, go for like a kill on this Ashe right here because of the vision I provided in this area. But he's kind of in an awkward spot, so I guess all of us are now just running to try to save him. Like, I don't know how this guy is like living, but basically, I'm gonna try my best to flash over the wall here and just try to save him. So I go for like flash black shield into an ult, into a crucible, just to make sure he stays alive. And now they're all pretty screwed because I got like a 4-man like ult, so they all have to split up now, and they're all pretty much dead. I'm gonna CC on the Scion afterwards, and we pretty much just clean up and pretty much win the game. So I guess to summarize, like, the Morgana Jhin combo is still really strong. Like, you can see, like, throughout a lot of these fights, like, I would just shield the Jhin, he would just run up really aggressively and just get off a ton of free autos, and then as soon as one of us lands our CC, the other person can just follow up for like even longer CC, which is really good for a team of like having a lot of bruisers like this Pantheon, the GP, and a Nocturne. So Morgana's in a really nice spot right now, and I think that she does counter a lot of specific champions. Like, I know in this game, like, I couldn't really counter that many things. Like, I guess denying, like, Lee Sin and LeBlanc definitely couldn't really engage as often as we would like have had to because of the black shield. But I guess other champions like a Vi or something like that, who's really reliant on her ult of CCing someone down, like, putting a black shield is really good. So I like LeBlanc a lot, or I like the Morgana a lot. She can build pretty greedily and still get away with it, so I really like that. And yeah, she's just a ton of fun. She has a lot of pick potential. I think she's a really good support right now, so definitely try her out this patch if you haven't. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much it.